Borrowers could see the loan cancellation reflected on their accounts within 6 weeks. The relief payment will be limited to borrowers who make less than $125,000 a year, or married couples or head of households earning less than $250,000 a year. The Education Department is also considering people's so-called adjusted gross income, which will affect how you will receive your stimulus payment. So where people can also be getting many stimulus checks, everybody, this year. So if you want to be sure to get more stimulus payments, then be sure to continue watching this video. A lot of developments are being made about the fourth stimulus payment, Social Security benefits, Ssdi and Ssdi. You guys have to continue watching this video because there's finally a big news on the update of around fourth stimulus checks. And Congress has actually decided to move forward with a new plan. There's a lot of good news, everybody, about this, but $350 stimulus payments may be automatically deposited for low-income households. And that's not all. If you receive monthly benefit checks, you may also qualify for this relief payment. So just continue watching this video, everybody, to stay tuned on the latest stimulus news that you don't want to miss out on. Parents are having a hard time making ends meet after the end of the monthly child tax credit payments. So according to a new survey, the survey found that nearly 80% of eligible families received the child tax credit payments, and those extra funds went primarily to paying those and for necessities. This new data is a stark reminder that child tax credit helped keep families afloat, and that its end is actually help families many deeply. And the child tax credit payments are part of a monthly payment by eligible families from July to December 2021. And the program, which made the tax credit fully refundable, expanded the tax credit from $2,000 to $3,600 per kid. Now, these are resounding success and help families afford necessities and pay so many bills. But the Senate has actually failed to pass an extension on this monthly payment, despite positive feedback from families on both sides of the aisle. Joe Manchin, for instance, is credited with pole-axing the extension in a blow to the Biden administration's Build Back Better Act, which would have extended it for monthly payments, everybody. And so, previous research credited the monthly child tax credit payment with lifting 4 million people out of poverty, slashing hunger rates, and even helping the upper middle class families pay for necessities. Now, though, Republican Senator Romney is proposing a monthly package. Now, this Romney's proposal is called the BILLS Act. It's called the Family Securities Act, and the bill seeks to raise the minimum value of the child tax credit to around $350 per month, or $4,200 per year. So, under this proposal, parents will have the option to choose to receive the credit monthly or annually, so people can actually receive more money, everybody, over time. But there's one big problem with Romney's plan, and it's that it includes an income requirement to claim the boosted credit. To get the full child tax credit, a family must have earned income of $10,000 or more in the prior year, and that's $10,000 of earnings that would be then adjusted annually to account for inflation. Not only that, but Romney's plan, everybody, folks, is touted as a zero deficit plan. It means that the money to fund the program will not increase the U.S. budget deficit. But some say that Romney would cancel social safety net programs that families depend on, specifically the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Act, the Earned Income Tax Credit, and the Child and Dependent Care Credit. So the number of Americans filing for jobless benefits has also dropped, and a sign that few companies are cutting despite high inflation and a weak economy. Applications for unemployment benefits for the week ending in September has actually fallen by many thousands, and the Labor Department reported that its lowest level of unemployment has been now since April. Jobless aid applications have actually generally reflect layoffs, and the current figures are very low historically, and Americans are benefiting from an unusually high level of job security. A year ago this week, 370,000 people applied for benefits, and that's not happening anymore. Yet employers who have struggled to rehire after laying off 22 million workers at the height of the crisis are still looking for people for millions of jobs open. And there are currently roughly 2 open positions for every unemployed worker, near a record high. So with companies desperate for workers, they're much more likely to hold on to their current staff. The Federal Reserve is aiming to bring down inflation by rapidly raising its key interest rate, which is currently in a range of 3 to 25%. That's a little more than a year ago, so something definitely needs to be done about this.
Chairman, there are 19 ayes and 16 noes.
The ayes have it. The resolution as amended is ordered reported unfavorably to the House. Members will have 2 days to submit views. Without objection, the resolution will be reported as a single amendment, nature of a substitute, incorporating all adopted amendments. The staff is authorized to make technical and conforming changes. Pursuant to notice, I now call up H.Res. 1249. Resolution of inquiry directing the Secretary of the Interior to transmit certain documents to the House of Representatives relating to the impact of illegal immigration on federal or tribal lands for purposes of markup, and move that the committee report the resolution unfavorably to the House. The clerk will report the resolution.
HRS 1249 of inquiry.
Without objection, the resolution is considered as read and open for amendment at any point. I will begin by recognizing myself for an opening statement. HRS 1249, introduced by Representative Blake Moore, directs the Secretary of the Interior to transmit to the House of Representatives certain documents relating to the impact of unauthorized immigration on federal or tribal lands. For example, the resolution asks the Secretary to produce all documents related to the current level of environmental damage to federal protected and tribal lands along the southern border. I oppose this resolution for a number of reasons. First, I find it interesting that my colleagues are now concerned about the environment. But where was their alarm when construction of the border wall by the prior administration was wreaking havoc on the environment and causing serious environmental damage to federal protected and tribal lands along the southern border? Did they ever express concern or demand an environmental impact study? Of course not. Instead, they pushed the administration to waive every environmental regulation it could to build an unnecessary border wall. Environmental consequences be damned. This resolution is also unnecessary. The minorities had no problem obtaining briefings or information when they have asked. The Secretary of Homeland Security testified before this committee just a few months ago. The issues discussed in this resolution were never raised once. Rather than take up the committee's time, my colleagues can easily request this information from the Department of Interior's Congressional Liaison Office, which is the normal and appropriate route for these types of requests. I urge my colleagues to oppose this resolution, and I urge all members to report it unfavorably. I now recognize Mr. Gomet for an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution of inquiry would direct the Secretary of Interior to provide Congress with important information about what's happening at the southern border. As everyone here knows, whether they will admit it or not, illegal immigration has a devastating effect on communities throughout our country, and especially those on the southern border, as many of us have seen firsthand for years. Illegal immigration is wreaking havoc on our economy, and it's a leading cause of illegal drugs, including fentanyl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. H.R. 7780 has some good intentions and some rotten policies. Let's start off with the legislation's provision to use mental health parity to enrich trial lawyers and stick it to job creators. While I fully support mental health parity in the workplace, I believe we can do so without sending the Department of Labor and trial lawyers after job creators. Under this bill, DOL will receive an additional $275 million over 10 years to go after plans and employers. DOL claims to have violated mental health parity requirements governed by the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, ERISA. It's important to note that these employers offer mental health benefits voluntarily. Let me repeat that. These employers are volunteering to offer mental health benefits to employees. Yet Democrats want DOL to take these employers to court.
John Tester. John, thank you very much, old buddy, and Senator Moran, and thank you, as well as Takano and you know, Bashir is also here. Where are you? Where is everybody? There you go. Okay. Yeah, you have four right across. Okay. I need glasses. When I look out, the only thing I see is Joe Manchin. Hey, Joe, how are you? God, I wish I had Joe's hair. All kidding aside, all friends. Look, you all did so much.
Cut the Social Security 2100 Act from Representative John Larson favors the latter option. It would raise the federal payroll tax rate by 6.2% for employers and would only raise taxes on employees, making more than $400,000. The bill has gained some support, but is so far stalled in Congress. A big update, everybody. For Social Security and stimulus checks, eligible people can start applying today for additional stimulus assistance, and there are several programs that have been created that are aimed to providing financial help to Americans during this time. Today, people in Connecticut were able to start applying for a tax rebate just for families. The rebate, which was created as part of the budget bill that the governor signed to law last month, provides taxpayers with a state tax rebate of up to $250 per child for a maximum of 3 children. Any Connecticut resident who claimed at least one dependent, 18 or younger, on their 2021 tax return may be eligible as well, And while not everyone was qualified to receive the rebate, the Department of Revenue Services estimated more than 300,000 households can meet eligibility. Those applicants may see the extra money relatively soon. The filer status income threshold is single to married filing separately $100,000 or less and head of households. The rebate is for middle-class families. However, those who have higher income rates may be eligible to receive a reduced rebate based on their income. The period to apply began this week and ends on July 31st. The Department of Revenue Services said eligible families should start to receive their rebates in late August, right before the start of the new school year. The rebate came as the Biden administration pushed inflation as a top priority. It recently announced proposals aimed at boosting the U.S. economy. However, some of the presidential plans will need support of Congress, which could be a challenge. Governor Lyman said, "We created the state tax rebate to give Connecticut families with children additional relief. The application period is now open, and I strongly urge all families who claimed at least one dependent child on their 2021 tax return to submit an application as soon as possible, so that this rebate can be sent to you with no delays."